Well, first and foremost, just honored to be a part of this bowl game and everyone that was involved in granting us this opportunity. Really grateful to them. With Coach Schiano, obviously, he gave me my start. Forever grateful to him. Was the best mentor I've had in this business, and always a great friend. I know on game day we'll be trying to knock each other out, but aside from that, certainly him and his family. From the moment I got in the coaching industry, he was the reason why it was able to actually happen. For our team, we're growing and we're growing fast and developing and progressing. Certainly, it was a priority to get Miami back on track and bringing in some great recruiting classes, developing our current players. And there's been a lot of progress in that direction over the course of the last 18 months, 24 months. And we look forward to continuing that. And certainly starts with a great opportunity against a great football team like Rutgers. And we're all looking forward to it.
Michael, Mark talked about Yankee Stadium in New York, but I wanted to ask Greg and Mario, what is the magic of this experience for your programs, New York City during the holiday season, Yankee Stadium?
Echo Coach Schiano's sentiments, and for our players, it's such a different and new experience. They obviously know the legendary status of where we'll be playing at, and the caliber of great opponent that we have in Rutgers. We have a couple of players from the Northeast as well. So all in all, everyone, when it was announced, the excitement was awesome in our place. So for them, a great experience, another opportunity to play game number 13. All in all, just an incredible opportunity.
Hi, Mario. Hope you're doing well. So far, it looks like half dozen players from the team have gone into the portal. My question is, first, do you expect more players to go into the portal? And then among the players who have announced for the NFL draft, Javion, LT, James Williams, do you know if they expect to play in the bowl game?
Well, I expect a handful of guys to go pro. We certainly have to keep supplementing our roster and finding ways to sign a certain amount of members to the 2024 class, both high school and through the portal. So hopefully we'll achieve that number and be able to make that room on our roster, and also find opportunities for guys on our roster to find a place that suits them and their future and their plan. So I think it's very fluid, and I think we have a really good plan for it, and happy for the guys coming in and wishing well for the guys that are on their way to another opportunity.
Hey, Mario. As far as Jakari Brown goes, what would you like to see from him in the bowl game? How difficult might it be for him when he hasn't played all season? And do you expect to see Jakari Brown back next season?
He's played a lot of football, throughout the course of his high school career. He's been playing football since he's been knee high. So we expect him to play his very best, and that's it. Nothing more and nothing less. He's excited about the opportunity. He'll be well prepared. And his only focus is this football game and this team. Nothing that's happened before, nothing after. So he has the confidence of his teammates and the entire coaching staff.
And Mario, as far as the transfer portal goes, you talked a little bit about it, but how, are you hoping to add more than, I guess, one quarterback from the portal? And do you feel like you're close to adding at least one?
Well, as you know, Susan, we don't discuss personnel stuff openly with the media. It's just not policy. We have a great plan in place. We have certainly built the roster in a short amount of time to the level and the expectation, the caliber of what Miami football should look like. And that being said, we will continue to do so, and we feel extremely confident that by the end of the recruiting cycle, we'll be exactly where we need to be.
This question is for first Coach Cristobal. Just wanted to ask about your relationship with Coach Schiano. You mentioned earlier that he was basically a mentor or is a mentor to you, and you're forever grateful. If you could kind of just explain that relationship that you have with Coach Schiano, and then Coach Schiano, if you could follow and just kind of describe your relationship with Cristobal over the years and how that's developed.
He was, I had actually had the honor of picking him up at the airport when he was interviewing to be the defense coordinator at Miami. And instantly he was the hardest worker in the building. So it's someone I patterned my habits after. Someone that was a rising star in the profession. And when he got his opportunity at Rutgers, he afforded me the opportunity, which was a tremendous blessing. and honor. Just always just found a way to teach. Because you know what, when you're a head coach and you're really, really busy, you sometimes forget one of your major obligations is to develop the people under you. And you always just found a way to push and challenge me to help me develop. Just really, I never held back, and I appreciated that. And whether it was, I was a South Florida kid, to be up in the Northeast and away that was new. That was different for me. And whether it be my family visiting, my brother coming into town and stopping, he was just always really gracious. And my mom, may she rest in peace, always, always, always would ask and appreciates Coach Schiano for everything that he always did for myself and the way he treated my family. But consummate professional, unbelievable grinder, teacher, and whatnot. I can't, I could go on and on and on, but certainly someone who I'll forever be indebted to for just about everything career-wise and beyond.
This is for both coaches. Obviously, the focus right now is the game on the 28th, but when you look ahead to the 2024 season, what is your hope of what your teams will have gotten from this experience, both the off-field parts of it and also certainly the practices over the next 3 weeks?
Al, we feel the same way, and all focuses on this opportunity and everything that comes with it. And, you rarely have time with your players when there aren't a ton of academic obligations. As they wrap up final exams now, similar like they do at the end of the summer, you have their attention. So your practices, you're starting to see guys get opportunities that didn't happen throughout the course of the year. Guys go to the NFL, or some guys opt not to play, whatever it may be, or guys get in the portal. And you start to realize, these are guys that they might have been or seem like they were waiting their turn. They're good football players. And now they're going to get a chance to play and go out there and perform at a high level. And you want to make sure they get every ounce of what you have as a coach. It's also a great time for the team to spend time around each other, to understand that they've been playing football since they were knee high, and that football is supposed to be fun. And this is supposed to be a grind. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be an opportunity to recognize, and always looking for progress. We just want to keep getting better and just keep the focus on us just continuing to progress towards what we want to be.
Just your thoughts about what it was like working down in Miami and how it helped you recruit the area. And Mario, the opposite. What was it like for you working at Rutgers? What do you remember and how it's helped you?
Well, I'll start. I owe a ton to Butch Davis, who hired me at the University of Miami. Mario reminds me that he picked me up. I forgot that. But I knew immediately when I met Mario that this was a future star. And I learned a ton about being a head football coach from Butch. He involved me in so many things that oftentimes you don't get involved in as a defensive coordinator or as an assistant coach. So it prepared me for the opportunity that when it came, I thought I was much better prepared than I would have been otherwise. But I do look back at the time meeting Mario in South Florida and knowing that I wanted to bring him with me. And it wasn't easy prying him out of there. I mean, you'd think it's a full-time job, but he was so close. He had and has one of the greatest families. I never got to meet his dad, but I heard so much about him from his brother Lou and from him, and then meeting his mother, just a tremendous woman. And we've kind of grown together, right? We've been through some tough times, some good times, and he's always a guy that I looked at. I knew when we got here, he was the best coach on my coaching staff, and he was whatever he was, 25 years old, 26 years old. I trust him blind, and there's not a lot of people that I trust in this world. And that, to me, is the biggest thing. And again, we're going to have to compete, and we compete in recruiting, and we compete in many ways, but I love him. He knows that. I can't wait to see his brother Lou. He's like family to me. And, I know my dad, who passed away this spring, he's looking down, and he's really excited for Mario, excited for Rutgers, excited for me. And in life, you meet people, you can probably count them on one hand, people that you truly trust, truly admire. Mario Cristobal is one of those guys. And he, truth be told, he laid a huge part of this foundation. You look back at what he did in the 3 years he was here, my goodness, he was relentless. And he was my partner. He was a guy that again, I trusted with anything. And now to be going against him, I was so proud as he became a head coach. And then he went out to Oregon, did a great job. And then to go back to the University of Miami, which I know he loves, right? I mean, that's who he is. The city of Miami, where he grew up, where his family is. And to be back there for him, it's very similar to me to be back in New Jersey, where my family is, in an area that I love. So I'm so happy for him. It's going to be in that time when we compete on the field, it is going to be special. But two great competitors, two great programs, and I just can't wait. And a lot of it for me started down at the University of Miami.
Well, I mean, Rutgers was an unbelievable experience. When Coach brought me up there, I didn't know anything. I just checked me into the embassy suites with a large pizza, a whole milk, a bottle, and said, "I'll see you at 5 a.m. tomorrow." And the work ethic, I learned work ethic to a different level from Coach Schiano. It was something that I think other people couldn't fathom. The detail that went into recruiting, the detail that went into game planning, drawing up first and second down football in the field zone versus the red zone and third down, and the details that went with it and how to teach it. He taught me how to teach. He even afforded me the opportunity to have a camera set up so I could learn and watch myself teach before I presented the next day to our players. He's a vocational teacher. This is not a job, or it's not just an occupation. This is like a way of life. And the way that Coach Schiano approached that job, that opportunity over there at Rutgers that brought me along, we all learned from him. That was an opportunity where it required a program to go from 1-11 to winning 3 games to 5 games to 10-win seasons, national prominence. It was absolutely incredible, and I was there for a small part of it, and I loved it. I loved the energy and the enthusiasm. The people in New Jersey, I have family in New Jersey and Union City, so that was a natural, fit up there with whatnot. And I could go on forever and ever, but the learning processes, the experiences, the people, to be part of what it truly is to build a program was invaluable. There's no way to ever receive an education like that, and was able to be a part of that in serving under Coach Schiano at Rutgers.
Mario, with this time of year with recruiting and signing day coming up, transfer portal, how tough is it to concentrate on bowl preparation? And how many practices can you fit in? How do you make that all work?
Look, and I'm glad that we're on here with Coach Schiano. One of the best things that he taught me was that anytime you have situations like this that arise, whether it be, and then this time period reflects it, right? January is the most difficult challenge, to be the most challenging time for head coaches. There's coaches to replace sometimes. There's players, like you mentioned, the portal, but not. But if you look at it for what it really is, every single one of these opportunities, whether it be a defection, someone you asked to move on, someone declaring for the draft, all it should be in everybody's mind is an opportunity to upgrade. That's what he taught me. That's how we look at it. So what I think was like an ominous cloud early, and when this whole portal and everything else came on, now it's an exciting time. In terms of focusing on it, I don't think it is. I mean, it's, you have 24 hours in a day and you use every hour that you possibly can. But I mean, that's, I don't think it's difficult. Is it challenging with the time constraints of being on the road and playing strings and automobiles? I get that, but I mean, we do this because we love it and we love everything that comes with it. So there's no complaining. We just attack it.
Again, for both questions, you both talked about teaching and things like that. As you look to the experiences around New York, you were both working in the area, obviously, on September 11th. The players are going to be dealing with, these guys weren't alive, or if they were, they have no memories of that. What's that experience like of going to share that with the players and your team and share your own experiences from that day?
Well, I'll start. Mario was here with us, and I'll never forget it. It was an ominous day. We were game planning, and I was in the defensive room game planning, and one of the assistants stuck their head in and said a small plane hit one of the towers. And then we, 10, 12 minutes later, we knew there was no small plane. And because of where we were located, we were the first game to cancel for that weekend. And then obviously everything got canceled. But our players, there was a couple of our players that for some time couldn't locate their parents. And it was really scary. I remember getting everybody together as a team, and we had just gotten here. It was our first season. And the players wanted to go out because they didn't want to just sit around and look at each other. So we went out, even though we knew we weren't playing, we went out and practiced. And it was ominous because from our practice fields, you could see the smoke on the horizon. And, I think when you hearken back, it was such a different time. And our players, like you said, weren't born. So every anniversary of 9/11 that week, I always show a small video to our team, just, being that we are here in this location, and share it with them. And I'll do that again because I think it's great. I know we get to go to the memorial, and before we do that, I'll share that with our squad again, just to kind of inform them and educate them about exactly what happened that day. And I'll tell you what, I lost a lot of people that I know, from that tragic day, having grown up here in New Jersey, and so many people that worked in New York City. It leaves an indelible mark. We did something in the game against Syracuse a couple years ago that was played on September 11th. We had a special uniform that commemorated all those that were lost in 9/11, and we were able to give those. We were able to reach, I think there was 37 Rutgers alums lost in 9/11, and we were able to reach, I think, 15 or 17 of them, and we were able to put their names on our helmet. And we gave one of the commemorative jerseys to each one of the families, and just to get back the responses, how much it meant to them. It was a very tough time, and as time goes on, certainly you move on in life. But I think for those people who lost family members, that was a special thing to receive that jersey. So yeah, there's still a lot of ties being here in the Northeast and being in New Jersey.
Yeah, I don't know if I can articulate the confusion, the feelings that came with that day, and the opportunity to have our team go down. And I spent a week there with my family, by the way, this past summer, and took my kids 12 and 13 down there, and it hit them as I never saw my kids react to anything as what they did when they saw the memorial and watched the videos and walked through the museum. So it's so important for our players to understand, the more recent events in our history, to understand what really goes on outside of our bubble, right? Our football bubble, what really goes on in the world. And when they see a person, and like we did earlier this morning, our person that was helping us get here, someone that serves in the military, right? The importance of letting them know how grateful we are for their service, because what our generation has seen and has experienced certainly was, what can you say? It's something that we hope to never ever see again, but it's the reality of the world. And our players need to understand that is a day in history that forever has to be. We have to remember and honor those that unfortunately fell that day, and that we keep them always in our hearts and our thoughts and prayers of their families.